This podcast is sponsored by Intentional Living Magazine, your ultimate guide created to help infuse purpose and passion into your everyday life. From expert features that provide valuable insights to thought-provoking content that sparks transformation, this magazine, an online platform, is a perfect source of inspiration for all of those of us who truly believe in the power of intentional choices.
So in this episode, we are really delighted to bring you an incredible woman.
Yeah, Lauren Gwynne from the Wild Warrior Women. And we are talking about how can we embrace the feminine.
Oh, I've loved this episode.
We went a bit deep.
Yeah, we did.
We talked a little bit about sexual sensuality, and we also talked about playfulness, and we had a right good laugh. So enjoy this one.
Hey, Claire, guess what? Oh, dead excited.
So am I.
Guess who we've got in?
Lauren.
Lossa. We have got
Lauren Gwynne. Lauren Gwynne, our beautiful, lovely sister who we love very much, and we feel so privileged that she's come on with us because we're dead excited, aren't we? Because
seriously excited.
What we're going to talk about, it's going to be really open and raw and going to blow your mind. So just hold on to what you're going to hear and feel from this podcast. It could go one way or the other, but it's all coming from a place of love.
And we're bringing you
Lauren the whole shoot
wild
match. Oh,
warrior woman.
Well, I've got Lauren Gwynne is the creator of the Wild Warrior Women,
yes,
which is a beautiful community. So hello, Lauren.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's so lovely to have you here. So do you want me to go first with questions, or do you have
Always.
loads? Okay, so Lauren, can you tell us about the Wild Warrior Women and how you came about this community?
Yeah, so I created the Wild Warrior Women. It actually started with a different name, you know.
What was it called?
4 years ago, 5 years ago, guess what it was called?
All right.
Let Me Show You How.
That doesn't
sound like you.
I know, it wasn't me.
But let me show
and then
you
and then the
how.
women started so how I started it is I left my ex-husband. Fine, it felt like my knees hit the floor, and as my knees hit the floor and everything, like as I knew my life, how it had been, it just kind of disappeared, and I just didn't know who I was anymore, and I was like really, really seeking something more. There was a calling in me, like a pull, and that was community. So I started seeking solitude by going walking in the mountains, and I thought, oh, this is peaceful. I've got no thoughts, you know. Like I'm not drowning in fear. It was where I found my peace. I was a mother, so I had kids, so I really needed that time. And I thought, I'm going to ask some women to come with me. I'm going to put it out there. I think I was reflecting quite a lot on the way that in a society I brought up was drinking a lot and drugs a lot.
Yeah.
So I was looking out to my old environment. I was looking at the women that I know, you know, who have been brought up, and I was kind of thinking, they need this. We need this, you know.
So true. And we talked about this, didn't we, last week? Lauren invited us to a sober rave. Oh my God.
I think it was a sober experience, but we kept calling it the sober rave.
Showing your age.
I was there when they glow sticks. I was ready for it. But what a beautiful experience it was to literally just be dancing.
Yeah.
To brilliant music.
Without load of smoke and a load of alcohol and
sticky
aggro
floors.
and sticky
falling over.
I think getting like high on cacao instead of Coke.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And not having that, you know, we went home early, we were starving, we had some nice food.
You were going, let's go to Chippy.
Yeah, I was like, you know, let's get home. I went and picked my kids up after it. Now, there would never have been any of that. There would have been a lot of shame the next day. There would have been a lot of feeling uncomfortable, a lot of like inner guilt and things like that. I wouldn't have wanted to touch my children. And that stays with you, doesn't it? Really affect, even the thoughts thinking about it in my face, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not in that place. Do you know what I mean? Like, when does it end?
So that's all that stuff. I resonate with the finding the place and go, I want something more. And I think that's what we come across a lot with the people that we work with is this it?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that what you've created is for women.
Yeah.
At the moment in the Northwest. Yeah. And so tell us about what you you started off with the walking.
Yeah.
What do you do with them now?
So I started off with the walking, but one of the key things that I do, which I think is weaves into all of my work that I want to share with you, is the shadow work. So it's understanding the hidden forces that drive you. So, you know, when I began to walk and I began to bring women and say, you know, do you want to come onto a walk? I thought I can be teaching them a little bit more. So when they go home, seeds are planted and they begin to question how they're behaving, how they're showing up, how they're communicating. So I began shining a light on them and saying, like, let's talk about manipulation. Let's talk about playing the victim. And they were like me, when I first had that question through at me, I was like, I'm not a victim. I don't manipulate, but I can tell you what they all do. But actually shining the light and looking inwards and actually illuminating that part, it's sticky, it's painful, isn't it? But for me, that's where the deepest work will be.
100%. Shine the light on that and it can crack
So
open.
I'm actually like, so now the Wild Warrior Women Walks, I've got a 6-week self-development program. I've got a membership, which you've helped me and supported me and drove me into with your fantastic coaching. And then I've got Wild Warrior Women Retreats. But what I will say is, currently now, my mum is on a 6-week development course, a Wild Warrior Women course, led by Kelly. And actually, funny enough, this week, you're going to laugh your heads off. It's not funny, but I think it's hilarious. You'll get what I mean. My mum sending me messages and voice messages and videos of her crying in the shower going, I've just realised my whole life is made up of me being the victim.
And you're like,
we were talking about this, weren't we, today?
And I'm like laughing and she's like, she's 50 odd and she's like, I just don't know who I am. And I'm like, yes.
There you go.
Yeah, and she's like, is this what's meant to happen? And I'm like, well, the course is called The Unbecoming and it's happening. And I'm happy that my mum's doing the work and I get to experience this in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Do you know, because me and my mum are healing together. So much of our relationship as well, do you know what I mean, which is being passed down.
And how lovely that Kelly, as one of your facilitators, is facilitating that for your mum, because you don't need to do that, because your mum doesn't need to do it with you. Even it's like a side-by-side thing, but she's got another facilitator to do that with her. I love that.
Well, I'd said to my mum had been asking, can she come on it with me? Can she come on it with me? And I said, listen, Mum, I want to give you the space to be able to share things that I've maybe done to you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, I wasn't an easy teenager. I was horrific, and especially to my mum. Do you know, because my perception of my mum was she was selfish, she was this. Actually, now that I've done a bit of inner work and, you know, I can say that she was just doing the best that she could.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? And she had her own wound, she was going through her own trauma. But when you're younger and you haven't, you know, you can't see properly, you just think it's all about you, don't you? You know what I mean?
And you're blaming your parents
blame
for stopping
everybody
you from
else.
enjoying your life, and they're trying to protect you.
There's just like no awareness and
But
no
it's based on
accountability.
perception, right?
Yeah.
And you learned from your mum, and your mum's only just learning now, so it was always going to be. So can I ask you, when the women enter your world, do they know they're going on this journey, or do they just think they're going on a walk?
I think the first lot were like, whoa, when we signed up for it, you know, a couple of years ago. But I kind of think a lot of women do absolutely know what they've signed up for. I think there's a calling there. I think a lot of women who look at my videos and at my social media, they sit on the sidelines for a long time.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
They're watching.
They will say, I've been watching you for 2 years. And I'm like, you know, there's like a call in them, there's a pull. It's like the awakening, isn't it? Like they start feeling isolated and not comfortable in their own environment. You know, they've got a loss of self and they're like, I want it. And then they're looking at my videos, they're seeing women dancing around fields like banshees, singing, screaming in cold water. I think there's probably a little bit of judgment there first and a little bit of like,
what are they doing? Are they mad?
And then they come in.
And then they're like, oh, this is great.
I wish it was a joined ages ago. And I'm like, I know.
So that 2-year period, is it fear that's holding them back?
Yeah.
And so when does fear turn into action for them? That's the key, because we were talking before about men not stepping forward, because we obviously do men's circles as well as women's work, but it's where does that trigger come from? What is the trigger that flips them into, okay, now's the time?
I think it's when they've had enough, but who's enough is all different, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You will have people who are more courageous, like, and I think for different reasons, women hold themselves back. Actually, like, obviously in the sense of a community of women. I think women are scared of other women.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of women out there with a lot of heavy masculine energy, isn't there? And again, we're not dissing any genders here. It's about we've all got this masculine, feminine energy, but there's certain women that I used to get the vibe off, especially in corporate, and I would like, I can't resonate. I can't be myself with that woman because she's going to judge me or put me down because it come. And whether it's a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. But yeah, some women are scared.
Yeah.
It's comparisonitis as well, right?
Yeah, there's many elements to it.
I think at school, when I was in school, I was bullied. And I think if you go to school settings in general, which is one of the reasons why I'm not keen on school, is the shaming, the competition, the attacking, really, it was really, really painful for me going through school, all because I expressed myself a little bit more openly, all because I had friends who were boys. That made me then hang around with men more often because I was so scared of women. So when I started doing this, I knew I felt fear. I felt real fear. So I understand how they feel. And it's funny for me, actually, when I witness all of these women and they come in and some of them like have jobs in which they have to put the mask on and they're really confident. I heard you speaking about it before, and corporate really like, and I was that. It was very like, confident and alpha female. Yeah. But actually deep down inside, that was just a mask. I was terrified. I was playing up. I was performing. So when you get women there and you're asking them to be raw and vulnerable, they're literally like, whoa.
It's hard. It's absolutely hard.
But so freeing when they actually let go. But that can either take a moment or months or weeks or years, can't it? But you hold that space for them and because you've been on that journey. So you can feel.
I think that's one of the power of the Wild Warrior Women. I think my ability to be myself and to show emotion gives permission for other women to know actually it's okay to feel vulnerable. It's okay to feel rage and anger and shame, all of these things that we suppress. And then obviously they see women in the circle, the power of that circle, like you've been on one of them and it's like a woman says, this is happening at home. And then the next thing, it's like a domino effect. It's like, whoosh. And so many women say, I come here and wasn't going to speak.
We just speaking about that, weren't we?
Yeah.
But once someone inspires the conversation, they go, it's not just me.
Yeah.
No, it's every single one.
And they're just lying there, then crying, and I'm like, yes.
And you love it when they cry.
We love it.
It's like high-fiving, isn't it? It's like,
winning.
Crying.
There's a couple of things that you said there. One of them was about school. One of them was about you being mates with blokes. And when you said that, I thought about my daughter.
I thought
Gracie.
about my daughter and me.
Yeah. Yes. But you're a manifestor and Gracie's a manifestor. And actually, and the fact that you said, I'm not really keen on the education system because as a manifestor, you don't fit into the system.
Yeah, it isn't.
And Gracie, for me, is exactly the same and experience the same things and experience the nastiness of the girls and experience that trauma. But now, because she knows about the fact that she's a manifestor and she's not designed
and a manifestor in human design, for anyone who doesn't know what that is. So
a manifestor in human design is a leader. They're here to initiate and to inform. They're not here to be sat and spoken at for 6.5 hours a day for something that absolutely drains the living daylights out of them. They're not here to fit in. They're not here to be in the girl gangs. They're not here for all that. They're here to do what lights them up when they want to do it. And they don't have energy to rock up every day being all singing, all dancing. They're very honest, real people. But there's 11% of the population that are manifestors that feel like they don't fit in.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see actually what proportion of your Wild Warrior women fit into that model as well.
Yeah.
And I feel that when you said about the education piece, if I had my time over again, I'd have probably homeschooled Gracie.
Yeah.
And I know you believe that strongly in it and in alignment that you're doing very similar with your kids as well, aren't you?
Yeah, so like I've took all 3 of them out.
Wow.
Now, so they're all completely out. I think like a couple of months ago when I was working very closely with you two, I was very upset about it, wasn't I? I was like, I was
turmoil, weren't you?
Yeah, and it was because I knew, and I've known for a very long time, like you said, that I'm not creative for the system. And how can I teach women to awaken and to be aware and how they've been conditioned and programmed in this life, which now suppresses them, which, creates limiting beliefs. And I'm trying to teach them like there's something beyond the system whilst putting my kids in the system.
Yes, yeah.
Very hypocritical. And I've known for a very, very long time. And it's not because I've wanted them to be in there. And I know so many women will resonate with me because the amount of women that I've got messaging me since I've took my kids out of school is, well, how do we hold that space for them? How do we protect? How do we provide? How do we earn money? Because we want to be with, I'm actually shocked, but I'm so happy that so many women are telling me that I do want to be with my kids. I don't want to go to work. You know, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, completely.
But they're just like, well, I've been put into this system. Now I'm so scared because what do I do? We're going to lose another wage, or some people are single mums.
Yeah, yeah.
And I believe just exactly what you've said. I think this is my part of my journey, and I'm here to create a different system.
Yeah.
And I will, do you know?
Yeah.
And you know that's what I like to do. It's like,
and that's a manifesto.
Yeah.
So this is my system. This is how I'm doing it. And if you hear me and you agree, then you're
Come
welcome.
on the journey.
Yeah.
But if you don't, that's fine. You crack on doing what you're doing.
yeah,
And that's the powerful thing. And that's absolutely fine. And rather than people making judgment about that, let them.
yeah.
I mean, let them.
And
just
I
do.
think what you did say when you started, because you hid away from your social media for a while, didn't you? While you were doing some inner work, and then you were like, "Oh my God, I need to show up. I feel like I'm ready to show up again." And you've started showing up again. And she messaged us and said, "People have been unfollowing me now." And we were like, "Well, they're the people that don't need to follow you, because the right people who hear Lauren's message will come."
Yeah. So I think like when I spoke to you as well, that was like, as you said, I had a little cry with you as well. And I know deep down there was a part of me since I've developed this business that I kind of then wore a mask myself, because I'm so I've become like, everybody's messaging me, they've put me on a bit of a pedestal. And I'd went from writing raw, vulnerable, like, this is how I feel about the government, this is how I feel about the system. I kind of went a little bit in fear of judgment. That was my wounds. So when I obviously come to see you, I can't believe how much that came out for me when I was screaming, crying my eyes out in your house, rolling around.
Yes, she was crying. You didn't scream and cry.
I thought it was really gentle.
It was
gentle but powerful.
Yeah,
the work that we did that day.
Yeah.
And the impact that it had on how you showed up, though, was huge.
It just, I didn't expect for it to come out the way it did, like, you know, to bring up that I had shame.
Yeah.
Like, that was the way that came up, wasn't it? And like, I thought, I've done a lot of shame on loads of other areas. But I thought, like, for it to come up that I was still had shame and showing up. And I said to you, you know, there's probably elements of fear of judgment still.
Yeah.
But then after that session with you, I was like,
sod it.
right,
Pass off.
I was just thinking, oh my God, what have they done? They've just opened up here. Like, I can't tell you how free I feel and how much more everything is going with ease. Do you know what I mean? Like, my kids are out of school. I'm like, who cares? Do you know, I'm placing things on the internet, which I did fear judgment about what I feel about government, or how I feel about war, how I feel about these systems, and all of these like things that people would normally say, well, you're a conspiracy theorist.
But you're coming from a place of love and education. You're not coming from a place, there's that you can see things and it can trigger anger and it can trigger real sadness, because I see some of your posts and sometimes I have to skip by it because I can't handle
You're an
handle
empath,
it.
right?
But I get why you're doing it, absolutely, because we just go about our lives and not know what's going on, and it's that self-awareness piece, and people can choose what to take it, but you always do it from a place of, you're doing it from a place of love. You're not doing it from a place of, and you want change. It's not a place of, I'm just doing this to cause trouble. It's
love.
to cause change.
It's passion. It is. It's coming from the mother in me, I think, and things like that. And that's just how I am, aren't I? You know, but it feels so good, and I feel like I'm in a bit more of a flow and in alignment with what truly matters to me.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And that's what our vision is, to help more people do that. Because
we're all on the same page.
We're all on the same
100%.
None of us are getting out alive, so we might as well do it
together.
Have it easy. Exactly.
And they say, there's that saying, isn't it? The Western woman is going to change the world.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah,
she is.
I recently seen that the other day.
So you're here to create impact. We know that. We're here. We know that. At the moment, you're in the Northwest, but I see Wild Warrior Women going global. Without a shadow of a doubt. And I know you've got big plans. Yeah. But talk to us about your membership, because that's a really accessible way for people to work with you.
Yeah, so what I decided to do through obviously working with you as well was I wanted to work smarter and not harder, and I wanted to be able to be accessible. And actually it is a reflection of me doing all of these things, but my priority is being a mum and being at home. So, but I also want to help and be of service. And then on a reflection of that, there's so many women who want to work with me, but they feel like, well, I've got work, I've got the kids, I've got all of this, so how can I work with you? So I've created the membership, and the membership is a catalogue each month of pre-recorded videos. This month has been all about the root chakra, so how we can feel safe and secure and bring more structure into our lives, and decluttering our lives, bringing, taking action, all about the root chakra. So there's a catalogue of pre-recorded videos with EFT, meditation, somatic movement, breath work, kundalini. And then there's a wonderful workbook that gets you to do your shadow work. So, where are you not implementing a boundary with somebody? What fear is showing up for you? What's the limiting belief behind the fear? And then you get put into a lovely group as well if you want to use that, and an online circle. So we had an online circle last night, and I've got to honestly say, there was a few women, not all of them, that joined, but just immediately coming on and them talking to each other, they all just went, and they were like, this is what we need, community, women. Talking,
And the power of the circle is something that we'd written down to talk to about with you, because we're working with circles right now. And yesterday I went cold water swimming. I swim with the Ice Warrior. And it was cold yesterday, and we did a format.
You were dead brave yesterday.
I seen your pictures, by the way. You looked amazing.
How? We walked into the waterfall. But then we all took hands, and it wasn't planned, but we literally all held hands and then all at the same time submerged.
Yeah.
And there's no way I would have done that on my own.
Yeah.
And the power of that circle was huge.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that. And I know that you sit in circle as well. And what does sitting in circle mean for you?
So there is something that I say, and I've said this since I created the Wild Warrior Women. There is no, and I say this every time we sit in circle, it's like there's no one in front, there's no one behind, there's no one above, there's no one below, side by side. That's how we're going to grow. And I truly mean that. I think so much as well when people are on this journey of healing, it's like, oh, well, I've been healing a lot longer than you and stuff like no, sorry. You're about to come right off that model high ground and be hit in the face.
It's a fibromyalgia groups. It's like everyone's comparing, well, my pain's worse than your pain.
Yeah. It's just like no comparing. We're all in this, as you said, we're all walking each other home, and it's just all a beautiful lesson, and we can do it together, and give permission to feel. And for me, the power of the circle, like I said, it's just giving people the permission to be vulnerable. Vulnerability for me is the win, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And I was thinking about this as well, like the ability to express ourselves, with so many people, feeling like they're depressed at the moment. For me, you are depressed if you are suppressing something. I'm coming into the sacral now for the next month. And, what's the opposite to suppression? Expression. So to be in a circle and to express yourselves, whether that be singing, dancing, speaking, communicating, I just think it's amazing. It is an amazing place to be. And I always say to women as well, when they're in that circle, when people are sharing their stories and sharing a little bit about their life, everybody is just in shock. And I'm like, we walk past each other and co-create every single day. And we're like, hi, you're okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Until you get into that circle and you hear that every single person has got something going on at home. It's just like, we are here to be together. Do you know what I mean? We've all got a story. We've all got things going on. So let's share it, be kind, and come up with solutions, or just simply hear each other.
Just listen.
I think that's the power of the circle as well, isn't it? Holding space, not fixing, not judging, not shaming, not saying, oh, well, I had that done to me, or have you thought about fucking them off? Yeah. You know what I mean? Or is this? Yeah. It's like, because when your mate used to say that to you, and have such a big judgment, you feel unsafe sharing it. You're like, well, I'm not going to go back to them.
You won't share it because they'll tell you to leave him, or you need to leave him, or and it's like, I don't know if I want to leave him because I love him. And then you're all conflicted. Yeah. So it's
then
like,
you stop going, don't you? You stop speaking to them. Then there's a lot of shame, and then there's a lot of secrets in your friendship circle. And I think that's why people come to the Warriors or go to any circle and they say, I've got loads of friends, but this just feels different. I can talk to you more, you understand, because we obviously implement the don't judge, don't shame, don't blame, don't, just let them be.
Yeah.
Which
And
is
it starts being.
Yeah.
And stop being human doings and start being again.
Yeah.
And hold the space.
And hold the space for them.
Just sitting in silence, because I've been to a couple of Lauren's walks and the breath work, and obviously we've done our own, and you've been doing your stuff up in the Cheshire with your ladies, and it's the sitting in silence is massive as well, and just sitting in a meditation with a group of people. You're like, when you first start doing it, you're like, this is so weird. I'm sitting in silence with a group of strangers, or I'm sitting here doing this mad breath work with people. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, and then the ego's kicking in and the judgments are kicking in. But then you get past that and you're like, you feel so good, like that release and the expression when you leave, that you literally feel free.
You've left it all behind.
Yeah. And then I'm conscious, like, we leave that, and then we go back into real life, and then we're back into those relationships with some people that are like not open to what we're doing, and you're trying to then navigate. So that's why it's nice to have that regular check-in, so that you know that you've got that time, but then you can release it, and then you can flow better into the world. Because I know you've said that some women who've come to you have healed their relationships with their partners, or they found new relationships. Obviously, it's the relationship with yourself first. So with your membership, because I know you asked the question on the membership, that includes all of those recorded videos, all of those learnings, the journaling. Then there's the group online circle, and then there's the walk.
Oh yeah, you get the walk, as well. Yeah.
And what's the investment?
£45.
That's amazing, isn't it?
A month, that's nothing.
That's a bargain.
No, I know, it's amazing, and I know it's a small investment. It is a small investment for such a big impact. But my intention is to take this like nationwide. My intention is that every single woman cannot say that they cannot invest in that. I want to make it manageable because I want them to be happy. I want them to have resources, and the ripple effect that it's going to have on the children and the family and the partner.
It's huge. And there was a lady that joined our membership a couple of years ago. She's one of our favourites. And at the time it was £45, the membership. And she literally ummed and ahed about investing £45 in herself. Is this the human split? Yeah.
I love it.
And now she can't believe that she struggled with that decision. But again, perception, beliefs, all of that stuff. If you think about what you can waste £45 on.
Yeah. I loved your post the other day that you shared about it.
You can go and spend a fortune on
the priorities of money. It's the priorities. It's like you can go and spend £100 on a night out, but you can't, I think you can't spend it on personal development all of that.
Yeah, and I'd shared it, and I'd wrote like the cost of you not investing in yourself is your marriage, your well-being, your relationship with your kids. Because do you know what I mean? Like, it's like breaking it down. That is the cost.
That's the cost of it.
Do you know what I mean?
Staying.
And people don't get it, do they? Do you know what I mean?
But they don't know if they don't know.
Yeah,
and
that's
it. And so that's why we're here
that.
to share that information. So how can people find details about the membership?
So if you go on...
And Wild Warrior Women,
yeah. So you can go on like all of me, Facebook, me, Instagram, and there's obviously a link there, which is like at the Wild Warrior Women, or you can go on my website, which is www.thewildwarriorwomen.co.uk.
Amazing.
And all of the stuff for you is on there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All of the services that you do.
We wanted to talk about as well retreats.
Yes.
And I know retreats is one of the things that you do. But we were talking about understanding the power of retreats and why are they so powerful.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us your take on that?
Why is it so powerful? So, every single retreat I've done so far, and I haven't done this on purpose, it's always been on sort of magical, like a really powerful energy, like they're dragged in and like, pulled apart. For me, my retreats are specifically designed, all the girls that have come on my retreats have said at the end of them, you can't call this a retreat anymore. This is a resurrection. Like literally. And I'm like, they all laughed and they were like, this is not a retreat, Lauren. This isn't journaling and feeling nice. They were like, you need to write that it's not relaxing. So if anybody watching wants to come on a retreat, it's not relaxing. But what it is Is it a return to, for me and for the work that I do, it's a return to that feminine essence that's in you. It's a return to your power. Like it will like illuminate everything for you, make you feel so liberated. And I think when you are really held, because I think it also, it matters who you're held by.
Oh my God,
Of course it does.
Like, are you making
safe.
them feel safe enough for them to explore themselves and for them to open? Do you know what I mean? And then like, and are you embodying that yourself? Do you know what I mean? So for me, in those retreats, they're so intimate, they're so revealing. And I think as well, because women tend to not give themselves the time.
No.
Yeah. Over that period of 3-4 days, because there's a lot of guilt with women coming away. The amount of, there was a lot of guilt for me at first, like even putting a retreat on, because I'm leaving my children for 4 days. But this now, it's like, bye. See ya. Mum needs to just go be herself and take all of this off. But for me, that is the power of the retreat. Women coming together and them exploring themselves and them returning back to that feminine energy and being with all those other women, like you were saying about the circle, the playful. It's like when we used to be in tribes, isn't it? Yeah. It's very nourishing, it's nurturing, it's playful, it's innocent, it's powerful, it's fierce. It's like all that emotion in mine, which they just love that they can just be and they can just take it off. Do you know what I mean? And I love the retreats. It's one of the things that I love the most.
You do that? Did you try 2 a year, is it?
Yeah, I do 2 a year, yeah.
Would you like to do more?
So I've just recently had someone contact me and she's said to me, she's a travel agent. She's like, I would like to arrange one in, like, so I've been thinking last year I want to go to like somewhere like Sweden or Norway or somewhere that's like very much mountains and crystal waterfalls for because that's what I love to do, isn't it?
Lovely.
And I'm thinking,
well, it's not lovely. It's a resurrection.
Yeah.
Resurrection.
Yeah. But what I'm thinking is, in the ones abroad, I'm thinking over there, just do it where we can just go hike and go naked in the waterfalls. We just do loads of praying. We do loads of meditation. We do be. Do you know what I mean? So drag you through an initiation. Do you know what I mean?
So once you've resurrected them and then you send them back to the house, how's that reintegration for them to the real world?
Yeah, one of the good things I will say about most of my work, right? There's probably a myth, I think, when you first come to the Warriors that you're gonna like, your relationship's going to end and stuff, you know, like looking from the outside in, a group of women, there's that like, you know, men hating. I couldn't be more supportive of the masculine, my work. Most women come to my work and then they go home and make love to their man like they have never done before. Like I should come with that like type of warning, do you know what I mean? Because they're open, they're in that feminine energy, they're feeling a bit sexy and sensual a little bit again, do you know what I mean? So they're like, come on, do you know? Yeah. I just wish I had a man for my own feminine energy.
I love that you go like, knickers, knackers.
Do you know what I mean? So I love it when women say to me like, oh, you know what, I made love, but it was a little bit different. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, woo, why did you tell me?
And probably making love sober as well, because a lot of people like have sex when they're usually drunk or maybe after a couple of drinks, and it's like, why? Because that's been
this
a
is
thing
the point,
to
isn't it?
relax us. Because if you're nervous, I mean, not that you're typically nervous with your partner, but just sober and just feeling it.
But this is something like we teach, don't we? And I teach in my course, and I know you teach about presence and stuff like that. It's like when you are making love or you're having sex, are you being present, or actually are you thinking about the end goal?
I'm thinking like,
that stain on the
that corner needs painting.
Oh God!
Do you have rice or
But this is the point.
But it is.
Not being present, not enjoying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to go home.
Dirty laugh.
Oh no!
I'm gonna have to go home and do the painting.
But this is the point, isn't it? It's about revealing yourself. And I say to many women as well, like when you do make love, and how did we get on to sex? Like,
we
what do we start
we
off
do,
with?
we do, don't we?
Yeah. We do with you.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. I just think like, are you enjoying it? No. Is it a chore? Yeah. And this is the thing, isn't it, with this type with women? Everything's a chore nowadays, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So when people, going back to what happens when you go home, women begin to connect more deeply with the children. They begin to like actually think all of this doesn't matter. money, work, all of this, all of the things that we need to do. Like you saying, we're not human doings, we're human beings. It's like, I'm going to be present with my partner. I'm going to honour them. I'm going to love them. Like, you know, because there's a lot of also gratitude when people kind of come to any of my containers. It's like, life's not working for me. You know, everything's against me. My relationships aren't working. And it's like, but are you being grateful? Are you honouring your husband or your partner? Are you spending time with the kid? No, I'm just getting up and just... So I think there's a lot of like being present and a lot of like also prioritising themselves when they go home. Do you know what I mean? Dancing more, singing more. There's like the same saying, I don't know what saying it is, but in the in another country, they kind of say, when people say they're depressed, they say, when did you stop singing? When did you stop dancing? When did you stop smiling? And that for me is true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that.
Going back to that inner playfulness and the child, that happy child, we get so serious. And it's like, why? Why are we so serious?
One of the things that I have set for myself this month, because I don't do New Year's resolutions, but we do believe, don't we, Claire, that you can change your life at any time. You don't just do it at New Year.
I agree.
But one of the things that it was a lesson, a realisation for me, is that I don't show myself the grace that I show to everybody else.
She doesn't.
And now I'm going to... So that's my commitment to myself. And I think that goes with what you're saying, is when your women go back to life, actually is make them the priority.
Yeah, definitely.
Just as much as you make your husband the priority or your children the priority or your work your priority, make you the priority.
Yeah, definitely.
And when you do that, you're then shining with your beautiful energy to serve others, isn't it?
And become TikTok sensation.
We'll have to check the numbers on that in a minute. Human.
But I do also think this goes back to the system as well. Like,
Sorry.
You're not being present.
She's going on a TikTok now. I would too. If I had 51, I'd be like self-absorbed. Like. But I think going back to like the school system, from a very, very young age, we're placed into school and we only have 2 days off to feel joy. But we've also got to put in joy, got to do chores. And so from a very young age, we're put into school and we're created into mini workers, aren't we? That is successful. What are you going to be?
Oh, well, you only have fun 2 weeks a year when you go on holiday.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, it's head down, graft.
So I think like it's being glamorized from a very, very young age, conditions and programs into us that work is a priority. Like I was even saying this to the women the other day. In school, no one ever said to me when they were like, what do you want to be? It was like, what are you going to go to uni for? What job do you want to do? No one said to me,
what makes you happy?
Yeah, what makes you happy? And also like nobody ever said to me as well, do you want to be a mum?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think now women, well for me certainly, success come for me. I thought success was being like high up in a corporate job that was successful for me, earning a lot of money. So when I become a mum, there was a part of me that was like, I need to like get these kids' mindsets and go and work.
Yeah, and then you're not enjoying that the mum being
I'm just a mum.
I'd love to. Well, when I was saying that, I wouldn't have loved to have just been a mum at the time.
Yeah, no.
I found it really difficult going from that corporate head space where everything's planned to having this time bomb that doesn't stop crying. And literally, so at the time, there was no question for me whether I'd go back to work or not. I had to, because our lifestyle was run on what we were earning and stuff at that point.
How long did you take off with the children?
Because it
wasn't
Alf,
a lot.
I finished
years ago,
with Alf. I finished on my due date.
Did you?
Finished work on my due date, and I went back about 8 weeks later.
So he was 8 weeks old. What about G?
And then, but I was phoning the nursery saying, please, can you take him because I need a bath, and he wasn't stopped screaming. And with Gracie, I took 12 weeks off before, and I was back working pretty much straight away again.
Wow.
So would you say that you were more so in your masculine energy then?
Oh, 100%. I've lived in my masculine energy for so long.
Yeah.
And my biggest learning now is stepping into the feminine.
Yeah.
And when I stepped into the feminine, probably about 5 years ago, I've never felt more aligned to that. And then the need to earn kicks in again. And then I'm a doer, I'm a problem solver. And so my learning is I can create.
Create
I
from that
can
place.
do it,
Yeah.
but I have to stop and trust and be open to receive.
Yeah. And I think
That's the biggest.
And you're getting better,
learning
because
for me.
it's something I have to remind her on. It's like, where are you holding space for yourself? Because you're in there fixing everyone else again. So stop it.
But it's boundaries, right? And we talked about that. But I was talking to my coach about it, and the perception that Jules will sort it, right? Jules will sort it because she sorts everything. But it's not just my direct family; it's the extended family, and then it's. God, so many people.
And even me.
I'm thinking that. So, for example, my son messaged me. The first message I saw on a Sunday morning was, I don't want to disturb Dad.
So he's
because Dad needs his rest.
Yeah.
I don't want to disturb Dad, but
Can
do
you
you know
ask him?
if? Right? And I went, I'll ask him. Right? That's me taking the hot potato.
Yeah.
I should have gone, I don't know.
Ask him yourself.
Ask him yourself.
Yeah.
And that was the turning point. I just thought, no, this is no more. So I'm just bouncing it back and affording me the same grace as I afford other people.
Yeah.
And as I start saying no, people will find someone else.
Absolutely.
Being what you
100%.
teach, isn't it?
Yeah. And so the feminine side, so yes, the masculine, always been not always been the provider. I don't want to do Mark a disservice. I've always been able to provide. I've never relied on anybody to provide.
Yeah.
And if something needs doing, I am capable of doing it.
Yeah.
But I am also capable of
Not
sitting
at the
back and
detriment of
receiving.
you.
And I just think it's conditioned into us as a society, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? As women, we have a completely different cycle. We need our rest, but we're never given that rest. It's like we're in school, we're into work. Women don't get those days off.
No, but we
Aren't
could.
they starting to do that now? Didn't we
we?
have a conversation about there's certain countries that are giving women like 3 days in the month now for, I think
periods.
it's Sweden or Norway.
I've got a feeling it's France.
Oh, is it? It's France.
That's amazing.
It's France.
Yeah, so there's stuff coming.
Changing.
There's stuff coming, absolutely.
So you just said, can we? Because I just said, can we? We can do anything we want, can't we?
Yeah, but I mean, do you know what I mean? Like
No, I
conditions
know.
into work, instead of saying we're sick. Do you know what I mean?
No, we're not off sick.
Yeah.
But I'm
in.
going to be working these days.
Yeah.
And whilst that's not necessarily the norm right now, you can create your own norm and go, I'm going to take that job, but there will be this many days that I'm going to need to take every month. So can we build that in?
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
And I think this is like you saying about new systems being built, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I certainly, now that I'm very in tune with my cycle now, but a couple of days before it, I'm like, death's
Forget
door.
it.
Like I can't do anything.
And what am I like on
Instead
the
of
new moon?
trying to
I was
plough
going to say
through
about
it.
the new moon when you said you didn't line with the cycle, you go missing, don't you? She says to me,
She goes off.
Jules having a break right now.
I just
You're
say no,
resting.
I love it.
She
But
loves
now,
it. But we
rather
discovered
than-
that in June last year, and you've
They were
been
massively affected by it.
introducing that into
Yeah.
your working month as well, which is amazing.
But now I love it
Yeah.
because it's almost like my permission slip to go, I can feel rubbish and it's okay because I don't have to do
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah, well, I was worried about today, the full moon, and I'm on my periods. But it's been all right. You know, it's actually like, it's actually alive in me because it's a Leo, isn't it? And it's made me feel like, I'm back.
Yeah.
Roaring.
I love it when I bleed.
And it's that awareness again of some months. I mean, I'm pretty good around a full moon. I have mad dreams. I had loads
I had
of
mad
mad dreams.
dreams
You had
last
mad
night,
dreams?
Yeah, I stay up quite a bit.
And my sleep was a bit broken, but I'm quite pumped after a full moon that I'll start to get stuff done. And I'm all right round a new moon, but then it's being aware of when the moon is in my star sign, because it's in your star sign for 3 days a month, isn't it?
But I think you're energised then.
I am. So
Yeah.
I'm still finding when I'm not energized, but I've been doing my morning meditations and stuff like really consistently, and I feel so energized and not drinking alcohol.
Yes.
The sober experience.
The sober rave.
That was a really interesting thing for us to go to, especially me. I mean, I can go places and not drink. I've done like dry months and not drunk for ages, but for me to just go and dance and express myself, I was a bit at first uncomfortable. But it was great.
Do you know what I loved about it as well? There was a group of really young lads there. And I thought they were up there by the dancing.
Giving it loads,
And I
really,
just
really
thought, how
enjoying
blooming brilliant is
themselves.
that?
Yeah, it's good. It's
It
good
is
that from a
absolutely
young
brilliant.
age they're feeling confident to do that and they're exploring new things.
I really loved it.
Yeah.
I was aching like a bugger the next day. So Lauren, I know have we been going on for ages?
Yeah, it's been all been gorgeous.
It's been gorgeous. Is there anything else that you want to share with us before Claire goes to her love and light?
Oh no, I feel like I'm on the spot now. I don't know.
No, is it,
Anything that you feel like you
want
wanna-
to share that you want to leave us with, or anything. She's initiating her phone.
Like,
isn't she?
oh my
Go
Like,
on.
how do I manifest something to say?
For any people, men or women listening out there, what one bit of advice would you give for them to live in their true authenticity?
I would just say, get comfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? I think people like really feel like they hold on to comfort and they think, it's their safe space. But on the other side of that fear, freedom will await, won't it? And we know it's like liberating. We can create whatever we put our mind to do it. So basically do it.
So much wisdom on the other side.
Go for it. Yeah. Like, there's so
that.
much. So
Thank
you
for
so
that.
much for having me. I've loved
And so
it.
Wild
Oh,
Warrior
my.
Women is www.
thewildwarriorwomen.co.uk
And what are you on Instagram?
at the Wild Warrior Women. And also follow me on TikTok and share me so I get more than Jules' 50,000. Or tag me, Jules, tag me.
This is going to be on it. We'll have some
are so
kick clips
doing it.
from that on
We're gonna have
TikTok.
some boss clips.
Oh, yeah, I want to be TikTok famous.
Give it a week. No, because you know what we have to do to be TikTok famous. Go on.
Send me. What do they send me?
You've got to do pouty things. That's it.
And that's what we don't want.
winds us up.
And just
it
basically
winds us
tell
up.
you what I've had for me tea.
You've given us so much more than that, my love.
Thank you for this.
Thanks
It's been
so
a pleasure.
Thank you for allowing me on.
Oh, anytime, my love. So,
It's a love and life from me.
and it's ta-ra from me.